It was in June of 2011 when 32-year-old Jack Froese suddenly passed away due to a heart arrhythmia. In simple terms, Jack's heart was not working properly, and his family tragically lost him as a result. Sadly, Jack's condition is one that often comes with no prior symptoms, meaning that he most likely had no idea that he had it. His family was also taken unawares, and his mother, friends, and extended family were all forced to cope with his death. Jack himself was described as a great guy. His best friend, Tim Hart, said that Jack was his right-hand man and that the pair had been inseparable since high school. Amidst their grieving, Jack's friends and family were shocked when his email address became active. Somehow, Jack's email address was sending messages after his death. One message was sent to Tim Hart, and it contained one of their inside jokes. The subject line read, "I'm watching," and the body of the message read, "Did you hear me? I'm at your house. Clean your attic." Jack and Tim had joked about how dirty Tim's attic was, and Jack had even said that he was going to clean it himself. Tim has stated that they were the only two people who knew about that conversation. Shortly after receiving this email, Tim sent a response in order to fish for more information. Unfortunately, he never got a reply. A few months after Jack's death, his cousin Jimmy McGraw broke his ankle. Jimmy was confined to his bed for about a week, and during that time he received an email from his dead cousin. The email read, "Hey Jim, how you doing? I knew you were gonna break your ankle, tried to warn you. Gotta be careful." The email also asked Jimmy to pass along a message to one of Jack's cousins, who he refers to as Rock. Jimmy has stated that he likes to think the email was actually from his cousin's spirit. "I look at it as he's gone, but he's still trying to connect with me, trying to tell me to move along, to feel better." However, there's another layer to this story that comes from the cousin whom Jack referred to as Rock. The BBC started to run video stories about the situation, and Frank Froese, otherwise known as Rock, began posting comments under these videos. One of those comments reads, "I'm Jack's cousin Frank. My family calls me Rock." In the video, you'll notice that on Jimmy's phone it says, "Tell Rock good song, you're welcome. Tried to contact him and his email didn't work." That's in reference to a song I wrote for him months after he died. I was having trouble finishing the song, and Jack came to me in a dream. We sat down with guitars and a bottle of whiskey and finished the song. The next day, I woke up and played what we were playing in my dream. Jack's friends and family have actually stated that they are grateful for the emails because they feel as if the messages are giving them a sense of closure and bringing them closer to Jack, even after his death. In an interview, Tim Hart stated, "If somebody's joking around, I don't care because I take it whatever way I want." Jack's mother, Patty, also appreciated the messages. "I thought they were fantastic. They were great." In a conversation with Tim, she added, "Think what you want about it or just accept it as a gift." This leads me into the first theory about the postmortem messages. Some people seem to think that Patty accessed her son's email account and sent the messages as a way of getting people to talk about Jack and remembering the good times. Patty's own feelings about the emails are very positive. They made some people happy, they upset some people, but to me, that's keeping people talking about him. Despite this, Patty has said that she did not send the emails and she never had her son's passwords. In fact, nobody had Jack's passwords as far as any of his family and friends were aware. The second theory is that somebody hacked into Jack's email account. Although this theory seems very likely, his friends and family have expressed some doubt, especially over motive. Why would somebody do that? What would they stand to gain? It definitely seems pointless from the perspective of a hacker. It's not like they were demanding money or even blackmailing the family, simply posing as a dead man. It's possible that somebody did this as a prank just for kicks, but many people find this to be unlikely. The final theory is that Jack had used a post-mortem contact service. There are websites that allow users to send pre-written messages to their family and friends after their death. However, this wouldn't explain the message about Jimmy McGraw's broken ankle, which happened months after Jack's death. In the end, we may never know who sent these post-mortem emails for certain. Those who are more willing to believe in the supernatural tend to lean towards Jack's spirit, while those who are more skeptical tend to think that there is a natural explanation. Regardless, it would be extremely creepy to receive an email from a family member after you attended their funeral. Today's video topic was suggested by one of my subscribers. If you have a video topic that you want to see, suggest it in the comments below and I'll get around to it as soon as I can. This next entry isn't one specific incident, but rather a type of malware that has been sent to an unknown number of people. Ransomware is the term used to describe any digital virus that blocks your access to your personal files until you pay a ransom fee. One such ransomware is called Jigsaw, named after the Saw movie franchise. The ransomware itself shows an image of Billy the Puppet, which was essentially the calling card of the villain in those movies. Jigsaw was designed in April of 2016 and was meant to be spread via email attachments. If a user clicks on the attachment, their device downloads the malware, which then encrypts all the files on the device. This is when the pop-up of Billy the Puppet appears, demanding a ransom of Bitcoin. If the ransom is paid, the files will be decrypted and the user's device will go back to normal. However, if the user does not pay within 1 hour, one of their files will get deleted. Each subsequent hour without a ransom payment, the amount of files that gets deleted increases. Within a few days, the entire device will be wiped clean. If the user attempts to reboot the device or do anything else to subvert the malware, 1,000 files will be deleted immediately. Some versions also threaten to release the user's personal information online. There are countless different scam emails and malware that will threaten to delete your files, but Jigsaw is one of the few that is actually capable of following through. The reason I included Jigsaw in this video is because it actually works. It doesn't make idle threats. Let this serve as a reminder to always be careful of your emails and to never click on attachments that you aren't familiar with. On May 1st of 2024, almost 100 different schools in Delhi, India received an email containing a bomb threat. This email immediately caused panic amongst faculty and parents. Classes were suspended and parents rushed to pick up their children from school. Bomb detection teams and disposal squads were sent to the schools, where they did not find anything suspicious or out of place. Delhi police spokesperson Suman Nalwa stated, "We are taking all appropriate measures at the schools which have received bomb threats. I request parents not to panic as nothing suspicious has been found." The Home Ministry has since announced that the email was a hoax. Investigators traced the message back to a Russian domain, but they were unable to determine if it had actually come from Russia. The investigation continued, and it was eventually confirmed that the email had not come from Russia, but rather from a teenage boy. His identity has not been made public, seeing as he is still a juvenile, but it was determined that he sent the email as a prank. Yeah, good one, buddy. I'm sure everyone found it very funny. The head of the National Progressive Schools Conference, which includes over 200 private schools, stated, "Our attendance today has dropped to 85% from an average of about 95 to 97% daily. Certainly parents are still scared and anxious about the safety of their children. Yesterday itself we had assured parents that there is nothing to worry about. We didn't get anything on our official email ID." I included this email in the video because of how utterly terrifying it would be to receive it. Put yourself in the shoes of the school faculty for a moment. How would you react to that message? What would you do after reading an email threatening to blow up your school? I can't even begin to imagine the sheer terror that anybody would feel in those moments. Then there are the parents of the students. Even though they determined the threat was a hoax, it can't feel good to send your child back to school after that. The fact that this whole situation was caused by teenage angst is truly infuriating. Click on the join button to become a channel member today. Channel members receive exclusive content and early access to all my content. On February 22nd of 2022, 47-year-old Eric Boldon pled guilty to sending threatening emails to a college student in the Boston area. Boldon is originally from Rochester, Minnesota. He downloaded pictures of the female college student from her social media pages and other websites. then downloaded an adult image of a woman with a similar physical appearance to the student. He proceeded to upload the adult image and the social media images to an adult website side by side in order to make people think that the adult image was actually the college student. Following this, Boldon sent multiple threatening emails to the student. One such message reads, "I noticed the attached photo of you online and wanted to follow up with you. I'm going to find you this summer. Once I've got you, I will have my way with your body for several days until I finally tire of you. You will experience things that will give you nightmares for the rest of your life. I want to look into your eyes as you experience pain at levels you never imagined were possible. By the time I'm done with you, your body will be shattered and broken. I promise that you'll never be the same again." Boldon also sent a mass email to a group of students at the same college with the adult image and social media images attached. In this mass email, he included the victim's full name. Boldon also sent several other emails to the victim alone. During this process, he used an email address that was not under his real name in order to avoid detection. He also used a software that sends your internet traffic through countless relays, meaning that he was entirely anonymous when using the internet. Fortunately, investigators were able to identify and arrest him. Eric Boldon was sentenced to 14 months in prison with 3 years of supervised release. He was also ordered to stay away from the victim and have no further contact with her. Finally, he was ordered to pay compensation to the victim. I can't even begin to imagine the psychological and emotional toll that this situation had on the student, and I sincerely hope she has been able to cope with it. My sources did not specify the amount of compensation money that Boldon was required to pay her, but I hope it was substantial. People like him represent some of the absolute worst of society. The student did nothing wrong whatsoever. Boldon targeted her, just for the thrill. The final entry in this video is similar to Jigsaw ransomware in the sense that it's not one specific case, but rather a general type of email scam. Extortion scams are pretty self-explanatory. The email threatens to release some kind of personal information about you if you don't pay a certain amount of money. Sextortion is essentially the same thing, except the blackmail is exclusively sexual in nature. In these cases, scammers will find something that they identify as shameful or undesirable sexual behavior, then threaten to release that information publicly if you don't comply with their demands. One common example of this is to threaten releasing information about a partner cheating on their other partner. The information at play in this scam doesn't even need to be legitimate. Even if the receiver has never cheated on their partner, a scammer could still threaten to tell their partner otherwise. Another common example is to threaten releasing footage of intimate alone time, if you know what I mean. Some of these scams will claim to have hacked into the receiver's webcam, and from there they claim to have video footage of the receiver engaging in a certain intimate act. The last type of sextortion scam is telling the receiver that they visited an illegal adult website. This version will typically threaten to leak this information publicly in order to make the receiver paranoid about getting into legal trouble. Sextortion scams are entirely based on fear tactics, more specifically, the fear of being caught doing something sexual that might be considered taboo for one reason or another. According to my research, however, you don't need to worry if you receive one of these emails. The overwhelming majority of them are not actually going to follow through on their threats because they typically don't actually have the information or proof that they claim to have. Your best course of action when you receive one of these messages is to simply ignore it, and whatever you do, never click on any links or attachments that the email might contain. In fact, if there's any lesson to take away from this video, it's that you should never click on a link or attachment unless you know the sender and the content of the thing you're clicking on.